Yeah, firstly, apologies to the boys because I'm just going to roll out some similar stuff. I've prepared that, so I thought that was best. But yeah, I'm going to announce. Well, I'm announcing that I'll be hanging up the boots at the end of the year. I think it's a great opportunity for the friends and family to celebrate, and this team's just evolved so much that I probably slowed down and can't quite give what I've expect of myself, and got some great young talented players coming through that are probably able to give a little bit more. But I thought it was just a great opportunity, Kenny and I, to do it now, and then we can focus on September and the finals ahead. Aside from that, it's been an incredible journey. I said to the boys that 15 years ago I just wanted to play one game for Norwood, so my son George, who's carrying on at the moment, would be potentially a father-son there, and 15 years later I'm sitting here, Port Adelaide person for life, and I couldn't be prouder of that. And for me, it's just been about being part of all of these great people's lives across their journey and watching them grow and mature and become great footballers, great people, just endure some incredible hardships and some lows, but also some incredible highs, and just do it all together. And I couldn't ask for anything more out of this club, Kenny, Chief, my family, my teammates, and the time's right to think about what's next.
Was it a hard decision, Teach?
It probably hasn't been the easiest year I've ever had, and because of that I've had a lens to what's going to be next, and we've probably been sitting on this for a little while waiting for the right moment. Obviously the footy is the most important thing, so doing it now, we're just in such great hands that, I said before that footy clubs, they just keep on keeping on. They're built on people, but ultimately people don't tend to get missed, and we're in such great hands here with Ollie, Darcy, some of the other young leaders, and Zach and Connor, and just a wealth of talent and commitment to the cause in this room, so it was the right time to do it.
When did you start to think that this might be your last year?
Yeah, I mean, I sat out, I missed a game earlier in the year, and we began to have the real conversations then about, where I was at. Took everyone down to Tassie for a little excursion, just in case that was the last time. Kicked a goal, so I got picked the next week. But it became a little bit more acute as the season wore on. We didn't want to put anything in stone, but also the reality of the situation was, I'm 32, going 33. There's other people playing great footy, and I've had a great run.
Congratulations, Teach. Amazing career and your transformation. You sort of what I went through and you embody what the number one jumper means. Would you say that was the highest honour for you, being able to captain this club?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think these moments are a great opportunity to reflect and probably take it for granted a little bit, and I probably do some things without noticing now, having been in the role for a little while. But it's been one of the honour of a lifetime to be able to captain the Port Adelaide Footy Club, and I honestly still don't feel worthy to be have my name up next to the likes of Boki and Russell Ebert and Tim Ginniver and the other people that have represented this club with the number one and had such incredible enduring success.
Has the end come quicker than you thought?
I think it always does. I mean, when I was announced captain at the beginning of this year, you probably think you'll be playing on a little bit longer, but I don't think it's any easier whether you're prepared for it or it comes and knocks on the door pretty quick. So we've just made the best of it and look forward to the next chapter.
Why do you think that was, Teach? What part of the game do you think was there a moment you sort of thought, geez, a bit faster, or
Yeah, I mean, I was never blessed with foot speed, so that has always been a little challenge. But like I said, I think the game's evolving and our team's evolving. You look at the expectations of high forwards now, and that means the equivalent's there for the high backs. You look at how tall but also fast a full forward is. At 200 centimetres and lightning quick. I mean, you got to be able to adjust, and also I probably slowed down a little bit, so that's just the reality of the situation.
Is it a strange series of events for you kind of going from barracking from the Crows as a young boy?
It was maybe strange 15 years ago. It doesn't feel strange now. You know what? Like, the first showdown on the list was the moment where I flipped completely. Until then, there was, I used to watch and barrack for a couple of the Crows players. So we're talking back in 2011 here, but as soon as I saw the passion and just the rivalry and lived it, it's very hard to not go Port Adelaide and never come back from that point, I reckon.
What's the rest of the year look like? Somebody else?
Yeah, look, I think there's a game late in September that we'll probably hang around for. That's what it looks like for us. Where I sit in the scheme of things, I'm just going to continue to try and play the best footy I can play for the group each week. What happens with selection is out of my control, but I've got full, trust and confidence in Kenny making the right call for the club, as he's done in 12 years now. And we've been really transparent the whole way through with the conversations we have. There's certainly never been anything that's come out of the blue, so we'll wait and see where that sits.
I feel like you have had an uptick in form since you come back into the team.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I feel like I'm playing some solid footy, nothing outstanding. Sometimes as a defender, if you get some goals, if you lose a game and some goals go against you, it can look a bit worse than maybe what it is. When you're winning, it papers over the cracks a bit, but I don't know, I feel like I've been steady.
Do you have a couple of favourite memories for us, Steve? I'm repeating myself, sorry boys. Primarily the moments that you get week to week and year to year. Just going for a coffee on a away trip with Husto every Saturday morning, the half an hour in the rooms after a win, listening to some music, having a cold beer. Away on the camps, just getting flogged and being exhausted, but knowing you're doing it with 40 of your great mates and you're all in it together. And also the bonding opportunities down the pub, having a beer, just recounting all of the things you'd done in the last decade, whether they were ridiculous or they were great times or shocking times. They're what stay with you. And when we catch up for a beer in another 20 years, we'll probably still be recounting the sessions with JD down the beach that we did in 2014 or whatever they were and how horrendous they were, but they make for great memories and great talking points. You sort of touched on, Ken's going to do the right thing for the club and selflessly miss your games for this year, so the backline can develop. How does the last day of the season sit with you if you're not playing as captain?
Don't get me wrong, I wasn't putting my hand up not to play. I just wasn't quite playing well enough to get picked. Look, I think this year I've maintained that I'd prefer to be not playing in a team that's winning and hopefully winning a grand final than playing and captaining a team that's going to go on holidays in 7 days' time. And I maintain that. I'll support the group in whatever capacity that is to the best of my ability.
Ken, has there ever been you've coached some wonderful players over your time here, and no disrespect to anyone else in the room, but is there more a Port Adelaide person that you've looked after?
No, because he embodies everything around Port Adelaide. Fearless, tough, aggressive, no prisoners. Tom Jonas. You reflect on his career today and you sit back and go, you just marvel at some of the stuff that he was able to do on the footy field. Not as much off the footy field, he probably marvels on, but his on-field stuff was just incredible. Tom will understand if I say it like this, Tom has made absolutely the most with the talent that he was given, and he's achieved ultimately more than anyone else I would have seen in my time in football with the level of talent just through desperation and honesty. He's the perfect person when it comes to giving your all, and I couldn't be more proud of what he's been able to do over our journey. And our football club are just lucky that, how many years ago did you say it was? 15? One game at Norwood.
Yeah.
One game at Norwood that he is fully Port Adelaide, and he'll live on at Port Adelaide as he should, as one of the great captains. And I've been lucky to have him. I've had two captains basically, and I'm very, very lucky to have had both boys. But Tom today is about Tom. Couldn't be more proud of him.
What exactly? What about off-field? All the time we understand obviously the on-field stuff, but what about off-field? Can you say this through?
I think if you could ask this group that's sitting in front of us now, you'd get a real understanding of what off-field is. And I think that's really important to understand. I actually can't tell you. I think it'd be great to ask a couple of the boys at some point, what does Tom mean to you? not just as your on-field leader, but your off-field leader too. Because I think he's got that. He's had this incredible balance, and I think they'd all admit that Tom knows how to have a good time as well as a tough time. And I think there's not one person in this team right now who doesn't feel safer off-field or on-field when Tom's with them, because it's usually a pretty good time and no prisoners.
Has a big aspect of that come out this year with him not being in the team, with the selflessness?
Yeah, I've said a couple of times this year because I've asked the question a fair bit through the year with Tom, and you know, his ability to lead this football club has been the same on field and off field, and he's had to prove that even more so this year because he hasn't always been on field, and he's led the club incredibly well, and that's a true test. I don't think I'm not sure there's been any other. Probably is over time, but too many captains who have lived the season that Tom's had to live this year and done it as well as he's done it. It's a remarkable performance to selfishly give himself to us in every possible way he had to, because he's a competitor. He don't want to sit out there sit in the stands when the ball's bounced. That's never going to be Tom. But Tom's done that for me this year.
What have you learned about yourself and the role in the team in these trying times, not being in the team personally?
I've been pretty fortunate throughout my life. I haven't had to negotiate too many significant challenges, and I think like anything, you realise that you've got more resilience than maybe what you do have, and you always find a way to get through it. And the club and the boys have been so supportive. I potentially haven't been around as much. I've probably managed my time at the club to make sure that when I'm at the club I can be the best version of myself.
How do you think you'll be able to teach?
It's not for me to determine, but I mean, just honest, reliable, hard-working is enough for me.
Brutal.
Has he softened? Remember when he first
Oh, you're kidding, mate.
he was all fire and brimstone.
You're kidding.
He softened a little bit.
Not one bit. Not one bit. He's always going to be a competitor. Right to the end, he'll be just fiercely competitive. And what I love about you, we do our reports. Our players write a little report each week after their game. And some of Tom's reports that he writes are really interesting. Like last week's report, I'll share with you what Tom's report was. Not from the game just gone, the week before. And Tom is Tom. What was your report, Tom? Stock. One word, wasn't it?
That's not a great example, boys. Right?
I was stock. And everyone who reads that report absolutely knows what that is. He turned up, he worked hard, he bashed what he could, and
Stuffed a few things up.
stuffed a few things up along the way.
Looking at the future then, I suppose it goes without saying that Ollie's the man who stepped into the shoes. Just a word, I mean, he's done the job previously, but that's a word from both of you on what his leadership would mean in Port Adelaide.
Ollie's been a great player for us, but again, today's not the day. Sorry, Ollie's not about you today. It's about Tom. And you know, I think what I will say about Ollie, he's supported, as Dars has supported Tom incredibly well, and you know, they'll be really proud today that they've been under Tom's leadership.
You got any finger at a lot of eyes off field, mate? Have you thought about what the next step is?
No, I think it's probably time to give Mill a turn to chase her dreams, and I mean, next year might be as much finding out what I don't want to do as what I do want to do. So we'll work that out in due course. Maybe a decent holiday before then, a bit of fishing.
And just on the team, mate, fourth time you're in a top four situation. How does this compare to some of those other opportunities?
Yeah, I mean, the most connected group we've had, the most clarity about what works for us, and probably the most confident I've been in what we have the ability to deliver. You know, we got a little bit of fine tuning to do before September rolls around, but you know, the meeting after this will be for that. But yeah, I mean, you try and enjoy the journey along the way, because the destination's a bloody hard one to reach, and you know, you sit here and reflect, we're going to finish top 4 3 of the last 4 years, but we haven't really got anything to show for it. So it's about just going that little bit further and doing those small things that make a big difference a tiny bit better, so that we give ourselves that chance in the last day in September.
All good.
Thanks very much. Congratulations.
Thanks.